Busted. Pope Francis was a bouncer before he was a priest. Do you have any of his stories? Yeah, he's a huge subscriber. I would say probably like 6 out of the 7 are from him. This song is a mega meme song, Joel. It's the remix, baby. Kate Bush. Dick Cheney and Kate Bush. Featuring doesn't hurt me. Your name's Green, Sonia. Welcome. You now have access to bonus content, sorry. Sub from NYC. What's up, New York? What's the good news out of the big crapple? Have the rats taken over yet? Can someone give subs? No begging. But yeah, this remix is pretty tight. Last night I went running at like 3 in the morning because I couldn't sleep. And the moon was fucking full, bro. And this song came on. And I just ran through this huge field with a clear sky. I felt like a goddamn werewolf. Chasing after blood. Bonus continent. New continent unlocked. David De La Rosa with the 2. Hi Joel, how you doing? How's my bro doing? We're doing great. Doing awesome. Thank you, David. You really live? I am live, Zach. Hello, hello. The full moon. Yeah, my butt was hanging out. Double moon. Double cheeked up on a Thursday. The moon's still out. You haven't been here since my birthday. Well, welcome back, Taboo. I have finally fully recovered. Excited for tonight. I'm fucking stoked. I'm stocked and stoked. Oh shit. That was a weird transition to the music there, but that was Running Up That Hill, remixed by Cream, Kream, originally by Kate Bush, from the Stranger Things television series. And now this is calming and relaxing Super Smash Bros. Music mix from the YouTube channel Commander Jersey. Enjoy. While we chill out and wait for everyone to get here, ho ho. The Hunter's Moon was beautiful. Is that what it was called? How do they decide on all the names? Blood Moon, Hunter's Moon, Gibbous Moon, the Stinky Butter Cheese, Waning, Celestial Moon. Making a new one, Bunny? Yeah, absolutely. Please continue to write. Hey, Mr. Joel. Oh, yeah, we already read that. I'm doing great, though. You just started watching Stranger Things? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even... I watched the scene that song was from. It was a very cool scene. And made me be like, holy shit, this show is... Because I only watched season 1. I'm like, holy fuck, this show has gone some places, my dudes. Joel smelling any burnt toast. Not recently. Honestly, I think... someone was saying that it was probably COVID, like residual effects of COVID, and it might be the case. I don't even know. People keep proving full moon theory. Experienced it today. Like where people were a little bit crazier during the full moon. I felt a little crazier to the point where I had to just like go for a run. Get out my inner beast. You didn't watch season 3, but you watched season 4. Interesting. You get so happy when you see me streaming. Well, I appreciate you. I'm happy to see you guys. You make me ever so joyous. Hope you're happy and healthy. I'm doing great. And I'm glad Kate Bush worked with them to have that song on the show. It was like, yeah, that was really cool. It's got to be interesting for an artist to sort of have their song blow up at a different time in their life. I mean, she's in like her 60s, I assume. Also, the music video is fun, you know, just because it's just like this ballet, interpretive dance bullshit, and they just seem like they're having a good time. On Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights, my new routine is watching an episode of Stranger Things followed by this stream. Fuck yeah. Well, that song was the perfect transition. Dude, the heat makes people dingo 80 baby crazy. Oh, no, that's true. Yeah, the heat will drive anybody insane. Hence why I think all the places in the equator tend to have a little bit of a higher murder rate. Up where it's cold here, nobody wants to fucking come out to kill each other. They just do it to themselves. Chris Blank with the 5 says, I love the episodes, man. Keep my days from dragging at work. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. All right, what's this song?
Hey, listen.
There we go. Don't bring up the fucking heat. Are you, 112 degrees in Arizona? I'm curious what it feels like because, you know, even though it is getting up to like 80s here and 90s, like it's still humid. So I'm wondering if it's like comparable or if like the dry heat of Arizona feels different. You know what I mean? Because humid heat sometimes is annoying as fuck. She wanted to actually be there while it was shooting. She never let anyone use her music, so it really wasn't. Oh, okay, interesting. Well, yeah, I think they really utilized that scene in a beautiful manner. They have a heart attack when they see the electric bill. Oh, the AC, yeah. Shit's fucking nutty. Have you played Papa's Pizzeria? No, what's that? You like the 7-Eleven stores? Nice. That one, yeah, that video is doing pretty well, actually. I was happy to see. Also, I think I'm gonna have like for those 4chan stories, since they seem to be doing just as well as normal videos, I think it's gonna be a continuation of keeping them going, so. What was I saying? I don't even remember. Doesn't matter. Oh yeah, 4chan. I was thinking about having like a specific intro made for the 4chan stories, almost similar to like the thumbnail for the most recent one, where like Pepe the Frog is sitting under the blankets while his like demons are closing in on him as he's reading a book with my face on the cover or something. But I was thinking if that could be like 3D animated as like an opening, that'd be sick. Do I read books? Not really, to be honest with you. I wish I did more, but I'll listen to like audiobooks as I do walks, so I guess you could say I read books, but I mainly just like passively consume them through the process of just doing something else. It feels like hell. It's terrible. You can't even go out of your car's AC to pump gas without sweating all your makeup off. Yeah. Arizona is a makeupless land. Everybody just, it evaporates off your face. And you're back to square one. I think basically anything you do should be successful. You put effort in and do a really good job in everything. Thank you, April. Appreciate that. You're a vital resource because I dare not actually go to 4chan myself, but I like hearing effed up stories. Yeah, you know, 4chan itself is just such a fucking mishmash mess. Just hold my hand. We'll take you there. Joe, saw some of your animated character stories. Awesome job. Oh, okay, I wonder which ones those were. Life gets crazy. I haven't been able to read as much either. Yeah, I mean, I don't even I've just been having, I don't even know. It's been tough getting out of bed lately. You know what I mean? Like, whenever you're not like super obligated to be somewhere, as thankful as I am for the YouTube thing, I just have like such a fucking degenerate sleep schedule. And like, and then when I do finally fall asleep, I just like cannot motivate myself to like get the fuck up. Make sure you use a lifeline when you wade and force. Yeah, I have to warn the federales first. Joel, your voice even calms crazy dogs. Good, good. They must be chill and relax. Come back to Animal Crossing music. Is that what this is? Kind of sounds like it. Outdoors at 7 p.m. Smash 4. Dude, Nintendo, I don't know, something about Nintendo. To me, in my opinion, I think Nintendo is like more magical than fucking Disney. Like, as much as Disney wants to sit there and pretend that there's some sort of magical world of nonsensical blah blah blah, there's something about Nintendo like original games to me that give me a stronger sense of just like childlike nostalgia. If you put mouse traps at the foot of your bed, it helps. Wait, what's happening down at the foot of my bed? Are you telling me there's meese down there? Gathering? Planning to suck on my toes or something? Any ideas for your new horror story? Maybe like some sort of demon that feeds on people's negative emotions and stuff, and like somebody that has gone through a really oh man, this is kind of loud, sorry. Maybe like somebody who's gone through some really tough stuff or something is, I don't know, has attracted some sort of negative entity to further their depression or something. I don't even know. Sonia with the big 20. Thank you, Sonia. Have a great stream and a good night. Oh, you going to bed, Sonia. Well, take care. And be sure to enjoy that bonus content while it's available. What's my all-time favorite comfort food? I guess just like I get this like deep dish stuffed, it's called like a red stuffed pizza. And holy fuck, that shit, oh man. I mean, usually it's only like the first bite. You know what I mean? Like when you eat food and it's like the first bite that you have of something is like that, where you feel all of your endorphins release and you're like, oh my God. But then you like, you know, usually by the 50th bite, you're ready to like throw up. But you just keep going for no God knows what reason. Yokai stories? Oh, yokai. Yeah, that's Japanese demon stories. Or demons, right? Are you into Super Mario Sunshine or old Spyro games? I never got to play Spyro. My nephew loves Spyro, but I did play through Mario Sunshine, I believe. Man, they should make a new one of that. Box Jellyfish, you have an important announcements? Oh, good to know. Thank you, thank you. I used to work at an airport with a haunted terminal. A whole ass terminal was haunted? How'd that happen and what would happen? You have an addiction to food? Yeah, I think a lot of people do. I mean, I know I do. And like certain foods. But I guess as long as you have a healthy outlet to like exercise, maybe potentially an addiction to exercise as well, it should even itself out and maybe even benefit. You ever going to do funny stories again? Probably not, to be honest with you. Those were a good time, but I think they're just something that unfortunately was a little divisive on the channel as far as people's general interests. Like, I thought they were hilarious, but looking back on them, like, there was a lot of language in them. I mean, I wasn't the narrator, I just want to point that out, but some of the stuff that was said in it was probably, you know, Make some people upset. Upsetty spaghetti. Don't embarrass me now the landlord's doing some work around me. Hello, landlord. I see the way you have that bag of tools. Is that Pokemon music in the background? Let's check. Route 209 from Brawl. It is. I assume it's Pokemon if it's Route 209. Silver Tarot. Welcome, welcome. Super Smash Bros. Music, basically. So happy I was able to make the stream a little bit before I go to bed. Been going through a rough patch, but your stream and content always puts a smile on my face. Well, good. We're about to take that rough patch and turn it into the green of a golf course. Or maybe at least the fairway, at the very least. Should do another video, police horror stories. Oh yeah, those are really good. I remember there's like a subreddit, I think, devoted to just stories from police. I forget which one. There will be noises of doors opening and closing in the dead of night and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, interesting. You read one about the guy being intimate with his wife, and at the end of the story was hilarious. You actually read that one. Oh, okay, interesting. I don't remember. I read so much shit. It's hard to keep up. But yeah, guys, 2 more minutes. We'll kick this off. We got bouncer / doorman stories tonight. 7 of those. So should be pretty litty titty. But please click that like button. Click share if you would be so kind. It does help, I think. You have a story in your cop? Yeah, send it in. If you got a story, reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial or letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. Are you ready for the World Cup 2022? Not really. I don't really care that much about football, but I can understand why people do. And sometimes it's usually a nice atmosphere, especially in the summertime. I consider myself a bit of a lawman too. We actually have a sheriff in the chat, a deputy sheriff, pardon me. I don't know if they're here tonight. You read the one with the scorpion on the dude's junk, right? Oh yeah, yeah, I guess some stories are funny, just inadvertently, scary mixed with funny. You're eating a loaded baked potato for dinner and listening to the stream. A low energy dinner. Is it low energy though? I feel like that's a lot of stuff to potentially give you energy. Fats and carbs and... I mean, I guess... Unless you don't really have anything planned afterwards, all good. Love the Smash music in the background. Yeah. Yeah, I changed it up a little bit. I sent a funny message of my experience on YouTube Premium. Scroll up. Scrolling. For some reason, YouTube forced me to use YouTube Premium for 2 weeks. I always close the offers YouTube offer but a few days ago I opened the app and boom, YouTube Premium. Interesting. I wonder if you got it for free or if it was auto charged or what's the deal with that. Would I put one of your stories in my videos? Well, probably not, just because it would have to be true scary stories, you know what I mean? And I know at least those ones that you talked about thus far have been fictional and that kind of thing. Oh my god, a deputy showed up at my house the other day and my first thought was, oh no, they're after me, even though I haven't done anything wrong. Yeah, sometimes that's the logical conclusion, is that we're just innately evil. Alright, friendos, we're gonna switch. Once again, that's the calm and relaxing Super Smash Bros. Music mix. This current one is Magicant 8 melodies. I'm not even sure if that... Am I saying that right? 8 melody... Oh, I see. Magicant? Is that a word? Magicant? 8 melodies, Smash 4. Cool. Alright. We'll switch to our spooky reading screen. You're on vacation in Massachusetts? Okay, nice. There's some nice mountainous regions through there. Operator 4307, welcome back to being a mischievous frog for 5 months. Hi, Joel, how's it going? It's going great. Everybody's rolling in. Good to see you. We're at like 300 people. Appreciate you stopping by. Back in the day, I used to play a whole bunch of Nintendo games. Yeah. I feel like as a kid, it's like hard to avoid playing Nintendo just because they're just so magical and straightforward. Spooky reading screen, activate. Under the sea. Under the sea. Alright, so like I said, we got 7 bouncer doorman stories. I'm just gonna make sure card is clear. We're able to record. Thanks for being here. Get my last burp out of my mouth. My college years were spent in the Midwest at a well-known party school. My last year there, I began dating a lacrosse player. He was the stereotypical rough and tough bruiser while also being a very smart and kind individual. That was, until we got drunk. He was never abusive towards me, but any man within eyesight was fair game. I told him I didn't like him when he was like that and did his best not to... What was it? I told him I didn't like him when he was like that and did his best not to go overboard when I was around. Huh. I do a magical transformation every time the spooky screen activates. I do. Going in. Venikins with the 2 says, Joel, I demand boop snoots on Pradip. There he is. He's been booped. $2 worth of boops right on his snoot. He's chilling behind me right now. I told him I didn't like him when he was like that, and he did his best not to go overboard when I was around. He had been doing very well until the Christmas break came around. The night before everyone usually went home, a bunch of us got together and went bar hopping. Less than an hour at the first place, we all headed for our favorite spot of ours. Steve, who we'll call the guy for the remainder of the story, had a run-in with one of the bouncers in the past, but everyone, including him, believed that all to be over. He and his fellow doormen let us in. Also, I hate when I read descriptions of, like, boyfriends that are, like, overly overbearing, and then the way that they're described by the girlfriend is like, he did his best not to be a complete psychopath. I really appreciated it when he wasn't insane. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, break that shit off, bro. You know it's gonna go south. I thought it was really respectful of him to only punch half the people that I talked to. He and his fellow doorman let us in without a crossword or look. Crossword. He and his fellow doorman let us in without a crossword or look. Our group splintered off and did their own thing. Steve and another boy from the lacrosse team grabbed a pool table, and I joined a few girls at a table across the room. I left them to have fun and did the same with my group. Hours passed, and the bar was getting packed. Between the noise of the crowd and the music, I didn't take notice of a fight that had broken out in the back. At some point, the guy who had been playing pool with Steve plunged through a mass of people and yelled in my ear. Steve had gotten into a fight with an unknown guy. Now, the bouncers were outside beating him up. He and I struggled back through the crowd until we reached a side door. The 2 of us burst out of the door. To my right, I saw a pair of big guys kicking another guy on the ground. The guy on the ground wasn't moving. I assumed it was Steve, and I rushed over. The bouncers, one of which was the guy who didn't like Steve, continued kicking him until I told them that I called 911. The bouncer, with the grudge, spit on Steve as he and his partner swaggered reluctantly away. I checked his pulse, and he was still breathing, but barely. I rode with him in the ambulance to the hospital. The paramedics were honest enough to say that he had about a 50% chance of Jesus Christ, what'd they do to this guy?
Hey, listen.
Miss Molly with the 5 says, Joel, my love, how are you? I'm doing pretty well. Painting our bedroom purple tomorrow. I'm really excited. Love you. Thank you, Miss Molly. I'm glad you're doing well, and you'll have to tag me in a post when that's done. Yeah, what particular shade of purple are we talking about here? The paramedics were honest enough to say that he had about a 50-50%. Why do I keep saying percent? 50-50 chance. The paramedics were honest enough to say that he had about a 50-50 chance of living. Goddamn. The paramedics were honest enough to say that he had about a 50-50 chance of living. And for the remainder of that night, I wildly What the fuck is this word? Vicillated? Holy shit, do they actually have a thesaurus with them as they're writing this shit? Vacillate. To be unable to choose between different courses of action or opinions. That's just weird to me. Someone who would date someone like this would also like to use the word vacillate. I Vaselined my way around 50% more on car insurance. Yeah, pay 50% more. For the remainder of that night, I wildly vacillated between utter fear and rage. I would have killed those guys with my bare hands if I could have. It was just after dawn when the doctors let me know that he was going to recover, but it was far from a complete recovery. He was never the same after that night. He never played any sports again, and his amazing mind had been greatly diminished. Seeing him now, you would never guess how bright his future once was. My discussion with the cops didn't go very well. It was clear to me that they believed the bouncer's version of events. Steve couldn't speak for himself, and his teammate wasn't much help despite seeing almost the entire exchange. When I found out the bouncers weren't being charged, I was beyond livid. A large group of students, myself among them, demanded the bar owner fire them, but he chose to side with the bouncers. There wasn't anything more that we could do after that except not go there anymore. Their college business dropped off shortly after that. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? I feel like this is took place in the 1960s or some shit. Like, how the fuck? Their college business dropped off sharply. Their college business dropped off sharply until they rebranded for a new clientele. And from what I've heard in the years since, the place has become so violent, only bikers and criminals really go there. I don't know if the bouncers responsible for Steve's awful beating still work there, but if there's any justice in the world, they'll mess with the wrong people and end up getting a life-altering beating of their own. God dang it, this story ain't right. I don't know, I feel like there's so much to unpack there. It's just weird as fuck to me. I half kind of feel like this guy deserved a beating just because of how they painted him out to be in the beginning as this jealous sociopath. But at the same time, I just couldn't believe that the bouncers are able to get away with beating the shit out of somebody and not have some degree of legal ramification, you know what I mean, from the families or a lawyer, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like it's a lot more complicated than just be the cops just weren't in the mood that day. I love most scary stories, but there are some that are such odd language that it breaks me out of the mood and I glaze over. On top of that, if the narrator's unlikable, it's over. It's fucking over, baby. Nixed. Cut in half. Sliced. Sliced and diced out of my life. After working in a bar, cops just don't act like that. Yeah, I remember when I worked in a bar, like, we weren't even allowed to really touch people. Like, if they got really outlandish, like, there was a degree of, like, you know, securing the person to a degree and then, like, getting them out. But then, after that, it's not like, I don't know, I just imagine, like, there's cameras in every fucking bar. There's cameras outside the bar. You know, and you could be sued if you ended up, like, hitting somebody or taking things out on, like, a drunken person or whatever. Not like I wanted to, but, you know, it was just a lot of ramifications for the actions that people took. And most of the time, most of everything was sort of, like, handed off to the cops if they were available. And, yeah, I don't know. Blue Rooster with 13 months in the Buttersock Cult. What's up, Dang Danny? What's going on, Blue? How goes it? I worked at the bar. Yeah, back in college. Fucking, like, dude, it was like 10 years ago now. It's crazy. Time be flying by. I've worked in dive bars and they couldn't work them over. Yeah, I guess if the bar was really shady, maybe there was some sort of shit going on, but also I don't know, dive bars are kind of fun, but I also, like, hate them just because they're, you know, shit like that. Joe, I always had the bouncers at the clubs I went to as bodyguards, but then I'm a 5-foot female who was innocent looking when I was young. They were very protective of me. They should have put you in a bubble. They should have inflated some sort of, like, pool toy, put you in it like a hamster, and then you wouldn't have to worry about anything. You could just walk around in a large tube all day. What's crazy is Joel worked in a bar telling scary stories. Yeah, that's what I did. I was in the DJ nest just up there. Everybody's, like, trying to take shots, blowjob shots and shit, and then just like, all right, everyone, this next one is about high school and Taekwondo. I'll see you, Hannah. Have you ever smoked a hookah or a bong? Yeah, both of those. Sadly, all the hookah places around here don't stay open very long. But I almost wanted to buy one of my own just because I kind of like I don't know, I wish hookahs were just, like, in every restaurant, everywhere you go, because it's just such a pleasant thing compared to, like, drinking. I don't know, to me it just seems way more relaxed. Like, you can get a little buzz from a hookah, but it doesn't last very long. And it's kind of funny because sometimes I'll have, like, a coffee and a hookah if I go there with friends or had gone there with friends, and man, that really speeds up your bowels. Wait, what job is worse, a barista or bartender? Probably bartender, just because, well, I mean, a bartender probably makes more money as far as tips go and that kind of thing, but I mean, they also have to be responsible in how drunk they allow somebody to get. And I always hated that about our bartenders at our bars. Like, they would fucking get people absolutely blasted with shots, you know what I mean? Like, they would be for the most part, sober all night, you know, but the bartenders, and then they would just, like, feed them shots, and then randomly just, like, their personalities would, like, flip, and they're like, sorry, buddy, you're cut off. And it's like, bro, you literally were the one that, like, led them to this scenario that they're in right now. And then they would just, like, put the, you know, the responsibility of getting the person out of there, because, like, you know, law enforcement would hold you responsible at the bar, or hold the bar responsible if anything bad happened to someone that got drunk there. But then it's just like, well, then why allow them to get that drunk and then put the responsibility on the door guys to get them off the premises? And The whole thing was just obviously they just wanted to make as much money from them as possible, but I hated the mentality they had as if though they had no responsibility in any of it, you know what I mean? What exactly is hookah? Isn't it like a type of bong or something? Well, yeah, like a hookah is like, it's sort of like a bong, where it's like, it's a hose rather than like a glass device or whatever. And yeah, there's like on the top of the devices, I guess how you describe it, like where you would put like the hashish or whatever it's called. And then you put tin foil on top of that to kind of hold it in. You poke holes in it, and then you put like a burning coal on top. And then the hose, you like breathe in through the hose, and it creates like airflow from that hashish, from like the heat down into the hashish, which like burns that hashish, and then that pulls it down through the glass compartment through the water, where it like filters through the water, which is cool, and then it goes to the hose. So it's like a much more like tolerable experience as far as just like, instead of just like breathing smoke. But it's, I mean, I guess people can use it to smoke marijuana, but I mean, it's primarily used to smoke like a form of tobacco. Was it, you fill the head with shisha? Okay, well, yeah. Oh yeah, hashish is like something else, right? Yeah, sorry. So I was at a Ramones show when a mosh pit broke out. A male friend picked me up at me on an amp packing case in front of the stage and had a bunch of friends in a half circle around me. Yeah, he protected you. Axiom Infinity 2, you just described my time machine. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, or maybe it's just your crack pipe I just described. You and Hunter Biden were hanging out, going back in time to your heydays. I saw my first UFC in high school and fell in love with the sport instantly. I've been a Taekwondo student since I was 10 and loved anything martial arts anyway. MMA was just the next logical step in my mind. I told my parents, and they searched until they found a dojo in our area that offered jiu-jitsu and kickbox. I told my parents, and they searched until they found a dojo in our area that offered jiu-jitsu and kickboxing classes. I was 14 when I joined that gym. Around 16, I dropped Taekwondo altogether to focus on my grappling and boxing. I worked out religiously and waited until I was good enough to go pro. And my first ever pro fight occurred just 4 days after my 18th birthday. I actually won by KO in less than 45 seconds, and there was no looking back after that. My future was in the UFC, and I was willing to do all I could to get there. My parents were always supportive, even allowing me to live at home rent-free. Their only rule was that I had to have a job just in case fighting didn't work out. I didn't mind it. Training and equipment didn't pay for itself after all. During the time my story takes place, I was a bouncer at a small music venue downtown. The club hosted mostly hip-hop and rap artists. The night the following happened, there had been a gang shooting the week before, and tensions in the community were high, and we had explicit orders to make sure things stayed safe. The guys working the door were always good about keeping weapons from getting through. As long as a guy was unarmed, I stood a 99% chance of winning a fight if it came down to it. But we tried our hardest to prevent things from getting that far. It was supposed to be a slow night, but a number of unforeseen things would turn it into a nightmare. The DJ we booked turned out to be more popular than we thought, and the club was packed early. To add to the problems, the owner had decided to sell $2 beers to make up for the low attendance. This led to a bunch of drunk kids. A few technical troubles on the DJ's end caused a late start, and this almost caused a riot. Thankfully, the problems were quickly worked out and the annoyed crowd appeared to be calming down. The mood was fairly chill for about an hour until the DJ took a short break. I was speaking to one of the guys at the door when a loud ruckus erupted from near the bar. West End girls, do 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 do. I was speaking to one of the guys at the door when a loud ruckus erupted from near the bar. I could see two guys swinging on each other. The bigger of the pair was losing until a few of his friends jumped in to help. The smaller guy was already down before I could reach them. He'd been kicked several times and was unconscious. I grabbed the first guy I saw and pulled him away. Another bouncer had joined me, and he was dealing with the second guy. A friend of the guy I was holding hit me from behind on the head with a bottle. Now I was rocked and couldn't focus on what was going on. I let go of the guy, and he took the opportunity to start wailing on me. My training kicked in then. I was holding my own until he hit me with one firm jab. I stumbled back into the bar and blacked out. I came to in the office was a Jesus Christ, I can't make it a fucking paragraph. A few Starbucks are closing? Sheesh. I came to in the office with a miserable headache and very confused. The paramedics arrived soon after. I tried to convince them I was okay, but they could tell that I wasn't. I was taken to the hospital where they found a small bleed in my brain. Surgery was done to relieve the pressure on my brain. Oh my God, man. What about cruise ship stories? That would be cool. I think I've done something like that. I had to have done some sort of cruise stories or like ocean stories or something. Came to the office of miserable headache. I was taken to the hospital where they found a small bleed in my brain. Surgery was done to relieve the pressure on my brain, and after some time I was able to recover. The authorities did manage to find and convict the guy who knocked me out. He ended up with 16 months, all of which he'd served while waiting for trial. So in a sense, he kinda got off scot-free. I'll never believe the kid could have put me down without the bottle breaking over my head first. I've been hit harder by little girls. And speaking of the bottle, the cops were never able to decide who actually did it. For the most part, I had never received any real justice, I felt. I spoke to attorneys about civil suits, but neither myself nor my parents had the kind of money that it would take. Not to mention, the chances of ever getting paid were insanely low. The injury has left a few long-term impacts on my life. Probably with... Am I not feeling well and my voice just tired? No, I feel good. Sometimes I think it's a little bit dry. And if I've talked a bunch before, sometimes my voice just squeaks and shit. Have you looked into rail travel stories? Oh, like getting on trains to kind of like trek across the brain bleeding. You hit like a little girl also. Lifetime issues. Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia are some of the closing. Yeah, I mean, I guess like when it comes from corporate, all you have to do is run the numbers and just say to yourself which of those are like hemorrhaging money, you know what I mean? And I can imagine there's probably some ones in the city that, well, I don't know actually. I figured maybe the city ones would make them some of the most money, but if they are in areas where people don't want to go because there's like shady characters allowed in them or in that area, maybe they just don't make the money and they're just like, fuck it, we're just gonna shut down or shut those down. Try vocal warm-ups before reading. Heister, you just joined my Patreon. Thank you, my friend. Some early access over there for $1, and the $5 tier is similar to memberships here with early access to bonus content. You thought you heard me gurgling? Yeah. Yep, usually I do. Oh, shit! Hold on, no more gurgling, got a twerkling. D. Shore. thank you for the big twerkable amount of $31. Appreciate ya. Thank you, thank you. What's the good news? Thank you, thank you. Traveling in general on its different transport methods can have interesting stories. Oh yeah, I can imagine. Especially if you yourself are homeless or something and you're just along the rails. Probably see a lot of shit. Get it, spaceman. Thank you again, D-Shore. Appreciate you. And Heister Bunny with the 5 says, just join your Patreon. Just FYI, I hope you keep on doing these. Love the stories, especially while working. Absolutely, Heister. Appreciate you. I will continue to go as long as I can. Too many overdoses in the bathroom, why closing and safety issues? Yeah, I can imagine. Like having overdoses in bathrooms probably also probably has some like legal ramifications there as well. I don't know. I don't run those businesses, but I think, just inflation, the government constantly fucking printing out endless dollars probably doesn't help either. Miss Rockets with the 4 Canadian. Thank you, Miss Rockets. Probably the worst was God damn. Probably the worst was the end of my fighting career. Every doctor I've spoken to has made it clear that I would be putting my life on the line by stepping into a cage again. Even if I didn't die, I could end up a vegetable. That's no way to live, I thought. I'd rather be dead in that case. Finding a doctor that would be willing to release me to fight would be difficult too. As a whole, I'd rate the whole experience a strong thumbs down. And nonetheless, I'm proud to say that I retired at 9-0. All of those being KOs. But after the attack, I was in no hurry to return to work. I figured the job was only going to get more dangerous. In fact, not even a year later, a guy working the door got killed during a drive-by shooting. He wasn't even the target. He just happened to catch a stray bullet. With no other options, I decided to join the exciting world of auto repossessions. In truth, this work is relatively safe in my area. Most people don't really care if you take the car, and fewer would be willing to kill you for it. My son has taken up the gloves now and shows a lot of natural talent, and more than I did at that age, I suppose. Maybe he'll decide to go pro and succeed where his old man didn't, but that's his choice. As long as he stays... Man, I keep missing words. As long as he stays away from clubs and bars, I think he'll be okay. Absolutely no worries, the least I could do for having a relaxing voice. I'm trying to come up with pricing and read contracts. Oh, interesting. Wonder what's this? You don't have to say specifics if you don't want to, but I'm curious what pricing you have to come up with. Arlie, what's going on? I had a friend back in the day named Arlie. I should get something that I could like spray on my throat. That's what I need. Have you ever considered stories based around cats? Cats are the best animals. I think I've done a video, and you can look back through, but it's like, it was called like Where Pets Save the Day. And it's like all focused around cats and dogs for the most part. So if you look that up on the YouTube channel, you should be able to find it. It's pretty cool. When I met Wyatt, I was a shy 22-year-old bookworm. He was an outgoing, handsome, and fit jock that hopped from girl to girl. And why he was attracted to a bookish nerd like me, I'll never know. I was nearing the end of my time at the university and needed a large injection of cash. I've had jobs prior to bartending, but they'd never been so fast-paced and stressful. I wasn't sure if I was up to it, but my friend put in a good word for me with her boss. This gave me that extra little bit of motivation I needed, since I hated letting down anyone who put their neck out for me. Wyatt could tell how nervous I was and used his charming wit and looks to put me at ease. Maybe he just wanted to get me in bed, I don't know. It made no difference. I took the job easier than I suspected, and I had him to thank for it. When he asked me out, I agreed without a second thought. Our time together may have been short, but I loved every second of it. I tell you all this personal stuff not to brag, but to give you some sense of how serious his death was to me when it came. If he remains the love of my life 22 years later, he had to have been the one. On the night I lost him, I'd been called in to cover for another girl who never showed. Wyatt was working the door. A line was already curving around the block when I arrived. The club was popular with locals and tourists alike. I can't remember a shift where the place wasn't packed to the rafters. He was doing his job as usual, checking IDs as patrons entered, when he heard an argument going on down the block. Another guy took his place while he went to check it out. About halfway through the line, he caught sight of a couple. The male was yelling at the female, accusing her of flirting. The girl yelled back and the man slapped her. This had to have pissed off Wyatt. Despite being a big and imposing football player, he'd been raised in a family with 3 sisters who he was very protective of. He hated men who mistreated women and wouldn't hesitate to step in whenever he witnessed it. It's selfish to say, but I wish he wouldn't. It's selfish to say. The song going through my mind randomly, My Baloney Has a First Name. I know that song. I wrote that song. Sounds like I'm in a fish tank. Let me out. It's selfish to say, but I wish he wouldn't have in this case. Witnesses said that after the man hit his girlfriend, Wyatt charged the guy and yanked him back so hard he fell backwards onto the sidewalk. And this is where Wyatt made his biggest mistake. He turned to the girl and asked if she was okay. He also suggested that Have you ever tried the throat spray Chloroseptic? I used it when I used to sing. It kind of numbs your throat. You know, I have used that when I was sick, and it really does help when you're sick, even if it's only for a few seconds. And I thought about that, and I'm like, I wonder if it's like an overkill for reading and shit, but you said you used it while you're sick. I'm gonna have to probably grab some of that. Actually, can I run upstairs? I think I actually have some from when I was sick before. Let me grab that real quick. I actually found it. Kind of a good call on that one. Black Phone. Oh yeah, I heard that was good actually. Alright, I haven't used this shit in forever. Hopefully it doesn't make it worse. So it's over. No, it's not over. I was just being right back. Okay. Are you able to swallow it? When using this product, do not exceed recommended doses. Oh god. I also have some old Vapo Cool Vicks Severe Mentho Oral Anesthetic. So maybe that would help a little bit. Lucy, no worries. Good to see you. Lightning poo. Fastest poo in the West. Well, actually, East, but whatever. Anyone suffering from post-Amazon Prime Day burnout? Oh, yeah, I missed that day. Oh, well, whatever the fuck. I heard it's most of those deals are like scams anyways, where they just like... I don't even know. Don't they raise the prices beforehand and then lower them just to like essentially sell them for the same amount? Cool mist humidifier, you'll be fine. Good night. Good night, Riff Raff. Oh yeah, I just need bath salts. What is a bouncer? If you've ever been to a bar, there are these guys called bouncers or doormen, or a doorman. And they check IDs and they generally act as like security for the area to make sure nobody gets out of hand or too wild from drinking, being a drunkard. What are some of your favorite channels of content creators that you're subscribed to on YouTube? I listen to like Red Letter Media whenever I like watch like a movie. Like I still really need to just sit down and watch that Everything Everywhere All at Once movie. I heard it was really good, and I like to watch a movie and then listen to their review in conjunction. And it's like it's very chill. It's selfish to say, but I wish he wouldn't have in this case. Witnesses said that after the man hit his girlfriend, Wyatt charged the guy and yanked him back so hard that he fell backwards onto the sidewalk. This is where Wyatt made his biggest mistake. He turned to the girl and asked her if she was okay. He also suggested that they call the police. During this discussion, his back was turned to the man. Said man got up from the sidewalk and drew a knife from his pocket. Several of those in line tried to warn Wyatt, but he reacted too late and was already stabbed twice before he had turned completely around. He managed to fight the man off, but he'd sustained an additional 2 wounds in the process. He ran for the door to get help. Bystanders said that he was already bleeding heavily when he reached the door. One employee tried to put pressure on the wounds while another called 911. While this was all happening, the assailant grabbed his girlfriend and dragged her off to their car where he made his getaway. Fortunately, some clubgoers got the plate number before the man drove off. I was so busy I didn't notice the panic going on at the door. When another employee came up to me and started yelling in my ear, I thought he was crazy. A short gap in the music gave me the chance to hear what he was saying. I dropped everything and ran for the door. We'd always kept our relationship quiet during work hours to prevent any complaints from the boss, but in this moment, none of that mattered. He was already beginning to fade in and out when the ambulance arrived. I wanted to go with them, but there'd be no one left to tend the bar, so I stayed. Had I known that would be the last time I'd see him alive, I would have gone. Damn the consequences. I cleaned up the best I could and went back to work, but in truth, I was only there in body. I couldn't think of anything but Wyatt. The strange thing is, I hadn't once considered the possibility he could die. The paramedics had been so calm, and I didn't think something like a little pocket knife could kill someone, especially someone as big and strong as Wyatt. The call came through around closing. I was cleaning up as fast as possible so I could get to the hospital. The look on the waitress's face was chilling. Her reluctance to tell me made me furious, and I began to panic, and this made her even more sheepish. I had to scream at her to get the truth. They said he didn't make it out of surgery. I'm so sorry." Her words just hung in the air. I wanted to slap her. It was as if she defamed my mother. I didn't want to believe it. I stormed out and raced to the hospital, and no matter who I asked, no one could tell me anything. Then I ran into Nick, the club's owner. His face said everything, and I collapsed to the floor and cried until I had no tears left to shed. Rather than mourn as I should have, I focused all my energy into making sure the garbage that killed him was convicted. Thanks to those patrons, he was arrested quickly. The wait for the trial seemed to be an eternity. In that time, I'd graduated and moved to Denver for work. I returned for the trial and sat through each and every day of it. We figured since the guy had a lot of prior convictions, life was a certainty. The guy's lawyer claimed self-defense, saying he was scared for his life because Wyatt was so much bigger than him. This didn't get him off, but the judge allowed it to be a consideration by the jury toward the verdict. The short of it was that the loser got 25 years instead of the hoped-for life. I was livid, but there was nothing I could do. Well, that throat spray actually helped for a while, to be honest with you. It does really just numb it. Am I anywhere near Philly? I don't really want to go into specifics of where I live, please. Your voice is so soothing, I literally put your podcast to fall asleep, even though it's usually some creep. Yeah, no worries. Thank you. I appreciate you. The short of it was that the loser got 25 years instead of the hoped-for life. I was livid, but there was nothing I could do. This was the point at which Wyatt's death hit me head-on. I'll just say the road was long and painful. It's not something I'd like to relive. Once I was finally able to get my act straight, I focused on my future. Everything after that has led me here. It's the anniversary of Wyatt's death tomorrow, so I thought that I'd mark it by sharing the story with everyone. Perhaps it will serve as a wake-up call. I hope if you have someone special, you are allowed a long and happy time together. Life is shorter than we realize. A surplus of time is a luxury none of us have. Don't waste the little you've been given by not sharing your love with others. I need a hot toddy. What's a hot toddy? Your fiance was stabbed in a bar when he was 18 in Quebec. The guy didn't have a big knife, but my fiance was a very large man. It was in his ribs. The skin split, and he has a huge scar. Yeah, I wonder if it hit his lung or anything like that? Because I feel like going in the ribs, that's probably what it would be heading towards. That's scary, though. I live in Atlantis, yes. Deep under the sea. Can't you see? I am under the water. Alright, another spritz. Or do I drink water? I don't know. I live on Pluto. Is Pluto a planet again? Did they bring it back? Do you listen to that chapter? Yeah, I've listened to that chapter here and there, but I don't really consume a lot of content like this in my spare time. Like, people will tell me about somebody and I'll listen to someone for like 13 seconds. And then I'll just be like, okay, I get the idea. I wonder if you're supposed to like spit this shit out. Sore throat, severe uses for temporary relief or occasional minor throat. Does it say what to do? It just says uses. Oh, directions. Apply to the affected area. 1 spray. Allow to remain in place for at least 15 seconds and spit out. Oh, shit. I'm fucking not spitting it out. Am I gonna die? Use every 2 hours. Oh, every 2 hours. Oh, fuck. Maybe I shouldn't use it between every story. Joel is a basement troll. True, true. Hot toddies ingredients. Cup of water, half ounces whiskey, 2 to 3 teaspoons of honey to taste, 2 3 spoons of lemon juice to taste, 1 I feel like the saloons back then were much wilder than bars today. Oh yeah, I imagine so. There's no law with the claw. Back before I got on with T.I. What the fuck is T.I.? Back before I got on with T.I., I used to work secure. T.I. Private investigation? Back before I got on with T.I., I used to work security at a music venue. I'd been there about 3 months when the owner hired his nephew to work with me. The guy seemed cool, and we turned out to have a lot of the same interests and hobbies. The dude was built like a concrete bunker and covered in tattoos. When I discovered that... I don't know how, but I got like a hair in my mouth and I can't fucking get it out. T.I.D.'s buds. Like T.I. the rapper. Oh, yes, of course. How would I not have known? They were immediately referencing T.I. the rapper. It's so obvious now. The dude was built like a concrete when I discovered that. Okay. When I discovered he was an army vet, I invited him to go shoot with me at a nearby outdoor range. This was the first time I began to question his mental stability. Everything was normal at first, but soon he started mumbling to himself after shooting. I thought maybe I was going deaf and asked him to repeat what he said. He just stared at me for a few seconds and went back to shooting. I ignored it and returned to shooting myself. The session ended and we went our separate ways. I decided not to go to the range with him after that. It was a minor quirk, but being around him while he was armed didn't feel right. That was the only time he and I would see each other outside of work. I remained friendly with him and we continued to get along well, and as the weeks went by, more little incidents occurred and I began to believe that he was high on the clock. I'd seen it before, the constant trips to the bathroom and short temper with patrons. These incidents made me all but certain. For the time being, it wasn't affecting his work, so I kept it to myself. When the time came to say something, I approached him, but he denied it. It had gotten so bad he reeked like alcohol every shift. I contacted his uncle and got the mind your own business and you're no angel yourself excuses. It was true. I had my share of vices, but I kept them off the clock and far away from my family. It sucked, but I'd done my part. If the guy killed someone, it wasn't my responsibility. His drug and alcohol use just got worse, though. His uncle must have said something to him. Anytime I tried to strike up a conversation, he ignored me. There was a brief ray of hope when he began seeing this girl. His use appeared to be stopping, but within a couple of months, he was back to his old ways. And here's where the crazy stuff happens. He was working the door one rainy night, and I was helping out behind the bar on something. I heard a ruckus going down at the door, and I heard something crazy going down at the door and started that way. I came around the corner and saw a dude. Whose birthday is it? Oh, Ashley, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy B-Day. I came around the corner and saw dudes fighting these two cops. Wait. Oh, saw a dude, okay. I came around the corner and saw a dude fighting these two cops. One had him in a chokehold, trying to cuff him, and the other was trying to help. I had no desire to assist either party, especially the pigs. I just stood by and watched the guy get free and beat the crap out of both cops. He ran out of the club after that and disappeared. I knew he'd do something crazy eventually, but I had to wait until he was arrested to hear the facts. He was picked up as... What's up, Cider? What's going on? He was picked up at his parents' house. Man, what the fuck? He was picked up at his parents' house a few days later. This time there was no fighting back. Like everybody else at work, I was curious as to his supposed crime, but hadn't been actively searching for the answer. The day after he was caught, the sound guy showed me a short news article on his phone. According to the paper, he had gotten into an argument with his girlfriend and began beating her. When she fought back, he handcuffed her to a radiator and continued beating her. The victim claimed that he was arguing with invisible people and constantly under the influence of alcohol and cocaine. The craziest part was that he continued going to work each evening. Got back from going to the hospital. Oh shit, Cider, what happened? The craziest part was that he continued going to work each evening while leaving her cuffed to that radiator. That last night, she managed to get free and notify the cops. They went straight to the club and attempted to arrest him, and not very well, I may add. This was in late 2018, and I'm not sure how long he was given in prison, but one person said it was something like 7 years, which means he's probably out by now. I hope he got some help while he was locked up. It was clear most of his trouble was related to PTSD and the like. The drugs were probably a way to deal with it, but they just made his problems worse. Like I said, most of the time he was a cool dude. I'm sure he would have made out well had he not been subjected to all that terrible stuff. Don't misconstrue my Don't misconstrue... misconpoo. Don't misconstrue my meaning here either. I greatly respect veterans and their willingness to sacrifice their minds and bodies to do what they believe to be right. I wish we continued to invest in them after their service is over. We owe it to them. I'll stop the rant there and wrap things up. Despite the terrible thing he did, I hope the guy's been able to get clean and put his life back together. The same goes for his victim. There's no way she deserved what she got, and that's it for me. If I happen to hear anything new or interesting, I'll post an update. And I hope all of you are doing well and everyone's families have been reunited. Good luck out there, and stay safe. Just extreme dehydration from not being able to drink water due to the extreme hellish like pain in my throat. Had to get fluids and other meds through night. Damn. So that shit really does, man. I wonder when the hell it's gonna get better. Did they give you an idea or anything like that? I hope they looked at your, surgical area. Joe, I'm curious how you read all the texts you get so fast. Like, what do you mean? Like, what you guys are typing in chat right now, or what are you talking about? Hey, yo. That was prime YouTube real estate, the Grapinator. Bro, I don't even know what y'all be saying sometimes. Like, damn. Like jam. Like strawberry jam. What you saying? Oh, what's up, Sydney? So you ever try PCP or what? Just crack. Just normal crack like everybody else. Crack and hookers. As usual. It's just tradition. Okay. YouTube the Grapinator. What kind of music am I listening to these days? Oh man, just all over the place. I don't even know. I mean, I heard that fucking Kate Bush song so many goddamn times that it got stuck in my head, and now I had to listen to it like 15 times till I got sick of it. So hopefully that's gone. But it did inspire me last night when I was jogging in the full moon, running up that hill. Running up that hill. Running up that hill. Running up that hill. Time for push-ups. Yeah, we'll do them after this. Today, at 34, I'd wager if you asked anyone who knows me, they describe me as a responsible and hard-working family man. These days, they would be right, but they didn't know me before. Back in Chicago, where I grew up, I was a very different person. Between the ages of 16 and 27, I lived life at full speed. Childhood was a nightmare. I ran away multiple times until at 16, my mom stopped looking for me. From then on, I was on my own, hopping from squat to squat and shelter to shelter. Danger lurked around every corner, and you couldn't trust anyone. I stayed high most of the time. You had to, just to deal with things from your past and things you'd just done to survive. It's not a life I'd wish on anyone. At 18, I began renting this dumpy apartment with 5 other kids. It was a little more than a squat, but the price was right. Making money was always a concern, and most straight people wouldn't hire folks like us. A lot of the girls ended up stripping. It was safer than hooking, at least. The quick money and attention could be addictive for a lot of them, yet no matter how much money they made, the ghosts of their past couldn't be avoided. With money and emotional problems almost always come. What? Can I sing The Tiptoe by The Widow? Tiptoe by the window. La, 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 la. With money and emotional problems almost always comes drugs. I learned this at a young age. Nearly every girl I hooked up with stripped. Most would also escort off the clock. I didn't get jealous like some of the guys. I was just with them for the money to begin with. Love was something I thought had been beaten out of me forever, and thankfully, I turned out to be wrong on that count. After nearly 10 years of dealing with crazy, drug-addled chicks with serious daddy issues, I finally learned my lesson. I had been seeing this dancer on and off again for around 6 months. Both of us had major drug problems and fought constantly. I'd had enough and broke it off the week before. She had a key to my apartment, and I wanted it back. The only place I knew where to find her was at work. She was on the main stage when I arrived. I sat at the bar and had a drink while I waited. A couple of the bouncers gave me dirty looks. Although weird, I ignored it. She came over to me when she'd finished and asked to talk in private. I figured that she was going to try and talk her way back into my life, but I agreed. We went off around the side of the stage where the girls did lap dances and sat down. She started coming on to me, but I pushed her away. I wasn't rough or anything close. Oh, I see. I know what they were talking about. Need a ukulele? Yeah. Oh, yeah, shit, I have this little steel drum that I keep wanting to bring down here and play. Even if it's just a couple of silly notes. I keep forgetting to grab it. I wasn't rough or anything close. When she realized her plan wasn't working, she began throwing a fit. I mean, she was so loud it drowned out the music. At one point, she slapped herself and left a big handprint on her face. I wish I could say I was surprised, but I was used to crazy by now. I leaned back in my chair and watched until two bouncers from earlier ran around the corner and snatched me up to my feet. She pointed at the mark on her face and said, "See? I told you he hits me." I burst out laughing. I'd never struck a woman except for once when a meth head attacked me with a knife, and certainly never hit any of my girlfriends. I guess the bouncers didn't get the joke. She had obviously filled their heads with a load of BS about me beating her, and the look in her eyes told me everything I needed to know. I was gonna pay. And for about 15 minutes, I did. Even when compared with the beatings I got from my mom's boyfriends when I was younger, I've never been pummeled that bad. I was thrown out the back door when they'd finished, and I can still remember the stink of the dumpster and how bad it hurt to breathe. And it's a miracle I made it home. I laid curled up in a ball in bed for over a week, only occasionally getting up to go to the can or answer the door for my dealer. I'd already decided that I was going to clean up and start off new somewhere else. I only stayed on the pills because of the pain, but once I'd healed up enough, I even quit with those. I'd initially tried to go cold turkey, but that wasn't happening. I had the number of a friend who worked at an inpatient treatment facility and he got me in. 30 days later, I walked out a new man, and it was the first day I'd seen the streets as a sober man since I was 13. My options were endless now. I could go anywhere and do anything, and it was up to me to make the best of the second chance. Truth is, I was 27, and it hadn't worked. Klaus Damon with the 2 months and the Buttersock called. Welcome back, Joel. Keep the good work up. Thank you, Klaus. A lot of people, sometimes they keep the good work down. Me, I'm always on the up and up. Have you seen any good movies lately? I don't even really know, to be honest with you. Probably not. Joel, I love the Buttersock Cult. They're the best members ever. I'm glad to be a part of the Buttersock Cult. Joel, I have your back and you have mine. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate you. Truth is, I was 27 and hadn't worked a legit job for more than a month at a time. Chicago was full of all the wrong people and too many bad memories. I hopped on a bus to Florida and never looked back. When I arrived in Miami, I walked from construction site to construction site. I begged for any job, no matter how small. I did eventually find someone who gave me a chance, and for almost 9 months I'd show up and clean. For almost 9 months, I'd show up and clean and do anything I was asked to do. My hard work paid off, and I was hired on full-time in the office. The boss must have seen something in me that I'd never seen in myself. My boss, Sam, turned out to have a daughter. She'd come up to the site on occasion to see her dad. I'd never seen a more beautiful girl in my life, but the chance of her and I ever being anything was unfathomable. There was no way I was going to risk the position I'd carved out for myself, regardless of how insignificant it may have been. I kept my head down and did my job. It turned out she and her dad had a different plan. Sam began dropping hints that Linda, not her real name, was divorced. She started coming up to the office a lot more and even introduced me to her son. Oh, her son, okay. Hey, Klaus, thank you for the 5. Thank you. DB Cooper doc on Netflix slapping right now. Oh, nice. He's slapping his chops as he's falling out of the plane. I have a bet that you can do a Chewbacca. How do you do it? Here, okay, I gotta go back a little bit. I can't fucking do it. No, that sounds so bad. Well, I guess you lost the bet. I'm sorry, friend. I feel like I'm trying to do like the gargle. Maybe it's because my throat is numb. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. DB Cooper. I did it good. Oh, okay. It didn't feel good. It felt fucking weird. It felt like I was doing like two sounds at once and I couldn't like quite meld them together. Chewy, is that you? I'm chewing on a slice of baka. Dude, Chewy is such a baka. Hey, Vahaj, see you later. The Prime Thanatos Electro live screen background. Hell yeah. I did not hit her, I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. God, that movie is fucking insane. She started coming up to the office a lot more and even introduced me to her son. I wanted this all to be real, but I was terrified. I guess she got tired of waiting and asked me over for dinner. After a year in living in what amounted to be a closet alone, I accepted. That night was an entirely new experience. I was amazed at her and her son's relationship. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I cried when I got back to my place. Seeing what I'd missed as a child was heartbreaking. Things took a nice gradual course after that first date. I assumed Linda would bail as soon as she had heard about my past, but she stuck beside me. We dated a further year before getting married, and naturally, Sam was my best man. We've since had a daughter and hope to have one more child. It's been a steep learning curve when it comes to family, but like most other things, Sam has been a great help. I owe him everything and more. He's given me all the things I didn't have growing up. He's the nearest thing to a father I could have ever had. If I could go back in time and erase all the bad things that's happened to me, including that horrible beating, I wouldn't do it. That night brought me to where I am today, and no money or fortune in the world could convince me to ever give this up. Aw, it's inspirational. Okay, wait. If I can do the at the same time as gargling, I just can't get it deep enough. I don't fucking know. I give up. Fuck Chewbacca. He sucks. The most boring character in the movie. Just kidding. I actually like Chewbacca the most because he's not saying a bunch of stupid shit. Of course, if you did a translation, who knows? Maybe he says a bunch of offensive stuff and you had no idea. Oh my god. Chewbacca is so provocative. Gargling a toad, exactly. Calling Bigfoot. Bigfoots, assemble! Chewbacca versus Groot. Sometimes they just make characters specifically just to have merch. Oh my god, it's Groot. It's baby Groot. It's Yoda. It's baby Yoda. Dude, they better make a baby Chewbacca soon, otherwise I'm gonna fucking boycott. Relate Tucson, you're welcome. Read the next story in a baby voice.
What's a baby voice? I don't know how to read in a baby voice. I don't know how to read in a baby voice. What would be like a baby voice?
I don't know how to do it. You have to tell me someone that it sounds like. All of these fucking voices destroying my throat. Maybe I could, you know what? Maybe I could open up this Vapo Cool rub and then perhaps that could help my throat. Completely missed the trash can, sweet. And then whenever I read, I can just shove the little, what's it called? The lozenge. Lozenge. Hey, son, want some pocket candy? I listened to my construction job. Get in trouble, totally worth it. Yeah, I know the vibe. How about a British accent? I was young, maybe 20 or 21. I had this stupid idea that I was going to become a party promoter and roll that into a lucrative career as a club owner. I had no idea what I was doing. I thought I hit the jackpot when I met this guy named Sean. He was a few years older than me and claimed to have a lot of experience hosting parties around the Northeast. He agreed to be an equal partner and showed me all that he knew. I didn't find out it was all a lie. Or what's Lazy Masquerade?
Lazy Masquerade. I didn't find out until it was all a lie, until the damage had already been done. Early on, he'd convinced me to bring in this group of guys to run our security. I knew nothing about them, but they looked the part, so I agreed.
I sound like a chimney sweep. Maybe I am a chimney sweep, climbing up your dirty pipes. Try an Irish voice. I was young, maybe 20 or 21. I had this stupid, don't they say tis or th, this tis. I had this stupid idea I was going to become a party promoter and roll that into a lucrative career as a club owner. I don't know. I thought they'd talk a little bit more sing-songy, but I know the more I try, the more it's going to make everyone cringe. Cringe. Oh my god. They just do a little jig. Maybe, maybe not. You are lazy. I think we're all a little lazy, to be honest. We're all part of that same lazy masquerade. I was young, maybe 20 or 21. I had this stupid idea that I was going to become a party promoter and roll that into a lucrative career as a club owner. I had no idea what I was doing, and I thought I hit the jackpot when I met this guy named Sean. He was a few years older and claimed to have a lot of experience hosting parties around the Northeast. He agreed to be an equal partner and show me all that he knew. I didn't find out it was all a lie until the damage had already been done. Early on, he convinced me to bring in this group of guys to run our security, and I knew nothing about them, but they looked the part, so I agreed. Everything Sean brought into the partnership turned to crap. The security team were the worst of it. They were more of an annoyance at first, and because they were older, they never wanted to take orders from me. I'd usually have to get Sean to talk to them. We agreed that he'd run the night of the party operations. It only made sense if the security guards wouldn't. Fuck. The lozenge is helping, but at the same time it builds up like saliva in my mouth and I have to fucking choke on it. Lynn with the two says, sad I can't stay, hope you have a good night, Joe. Thank you, Lynn. Take care. Can you read in a girl voice? Sometimes I'll do sort of like a Valley Girl bullshit. Do the Mike Tyson. It's only made sense if the security guys wouldn't listen to me. I focused on the arrangements and the booking end. Sean wasn't really interested in this aspect. After I severed the partnership, I'd find out why. talking in uwu voice.
Ooh, it only made sense if the security guys wouldn't listen to me. I focused on the arrangements and the booking end. Sean wasn't really interested in this aspect. After I severed the partnership, I'd find out why.
Oh, that's fucking terrible. That doesn't even feel good to do. It's making me fucking feel weird things, man. I gotta stop. I'm just kidding. Father, how many stories left? We have... What is this story? This is story 6. Wow, we're blasting through. What the fuck? No way, bro. Well, we only just started this one, so... What's happening? I need an adult. Spinal. I know some people can do the uwu voice like terrifyingly good. Cut one sentence out of the uwu voice in the final version. That would be funny. Just like do that and then cut right back to my normal. Gonna read a whole paragraph in a Russian accent. Also, can you maybe do a bonus story? This is going by fast. You know, maybe. We shall see. I'm honestly... I wish I could see, like, the length of it so, like, I can narrow down the edited... or, like, how long it's gonna be once it's edited. What does spinal mean? It was an interview with Mike Tyson where... They're like, we heard that you hurt your back, one of your a thoracic area. And he's like, yeah, I hurt my back. It's like, which aspect of your back got hurt? Was it your T7, your thoracic? And he's like, it's spinal. It's spinal. It's just so fucking funny, dude. Molly Llama with the 5 says, first the British voice and now uwu premium entertainment. Too good not to tell. Oh, thank you, Molly. Appreciate ya.
Thank you so much.
Yes, push-ups again. Oh yeah, fuck, I gotta do that. I forgot. After this one, faux show, please remind me. Appalachian American accent. Appalachian American. Well, the Appalachians, you know, I think they go all the way from, like, Georgia up into Canada, so, like, you're gonna get anything from, like, you know, southern accent to, man, all sorts of shit. All sorts of, like, rural style accents. Is there a place in, Australia called Appalachia? Appalachia, Australia. Eastern. Oh no, okay. Yeah, because somebody messaged me yesterday saying like, hey, you pronounced Melbourne right, because they're from Australia, but they said you pronounced Appalachia incorrect. And at first I was like, oh, maybe they're talking about Appalachia, Australia, or like stories from Australia that I forgot if I mentioned an area there. But I mean, like, the pronunciation of Australia, or the pronunciation of Appalachia, there's quite a few different ones depending on where you're at. It's really, at that point, it's like a tomato type of voice, or tomato type of, Your Honor, it's a tomato type of situation. Do a Canadian accent. Oh, you know, sorry about that. You know, sometimes with Canadians you can't really tell till they say sorry or something with like O in it or some shit. They just want a hillbilly accent. It only made sense if the security guys wouldn't listen to me. I focus on the arrangements and the booking end. Sean wasn't really interested in this aspect. After I severed the partnership, I'd find out why. I don't know, there's all sorts of different variations on the southern accent. Like, some people want to make it like, you know, some people really want to like make it super hyperbolic. You know what I mean? And I get it. It's fun to play characters and shit, but there's so many, especially living in like rural areas, you just get so many variations. But most of the time, I guess it is kind of similar. Like, yeah, I suppose. And that's interesting too, because like accents will vary between generations too. So like, ooh, but be known that twerking always stays the same. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey, Maribel with the big $35 Reno says, because I haven't done this in a while, need to get that twerk in. Thank you. I was dusting off the old ladybugs from the bum. But thank you, Maribel. And April D, not to skip yours, but with the 5 cents. Gotta head off to bed. Thank you for the stream and the jig. You're welcome, April. Thank you for the 5 and sleep toit. And thank you again, Maribel, for the big 35. Appreciate you. How old am I? I am 32. Can you believe that? Some crazy ass shit right there. Time be flying by. Venikins with the 2 says, to add to the voices, please give me an old... Oh my god. Old Greg. Do you like Baileys? Where you going? I have a mangina. I'm old Greg. Dude, old Greg was one of my favorite fucking... from that show. I didn't even realize old Greg was from the Mighty Boosh, because I think I had seen it like out of context. And then I had seen the Mighty Boosh. The Mighty Boosh is a weird show, but man, it's so fucking... Oh, it's so funny. Do a Jersey accent. Yeah, I'm from Jersey. So fucking what? Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, my voice is kind of hoarse because I was at an EDM concert and we were screaming the whole time. Oh my god. Am I married? I am not married now. Who's Greg? Yeah, look it up. Look up old Greg, the Mighty Boosh. It's you'll get the full context there. I'm doing Elvis voice. Hoo ha! Do the monkey. I feel like I want to do the fucking yeah, my favorite thing from fucking Dewey Cox. Choking on my spit. I'm choking on that shit. I'm stroking on that shit. But remember like the Dewey Cox story, Walk Hard? And like he's about to go on and he's like, Elvis comes out and he's like, look out, man. There's only 2 kind of people who can do karate. Chinese people and the king. And I'm one of them. Hoo-ha! And he like goes to like chop at him or whatever, and he's like, oh, okay, hey, thanks, Elvis, or something. He's like, and it's just so funny. It's like one of those moments, kind of like when like Peter Griffin from Family Guy like acts like an idiot the whole time, but then has like those moments of lucidity where he's just like, what the fuck? He's like, what the fuck was that guy talking about? But that's why I don't know. I love that movie because John C. Reilly's like, what the fuck was he talking about? I don't know. It's just so funny, dude. Rosa Diaz, welcome back for 5 months in the Bootersock cult. Long time no see, just got my new belt in martial arts class. Dude, congratulations, Rosa. That's a huge thing, honestly. It takes a lot of like devotion, I feel like, and even from like, I remember jiu-jitsu was like white belt to blue belt is like, you know, it's not an easy task to do, so wherever you are along in that progression system, congratulations, that's amazing. Gonna read a paragraph in Arthur Morgan. He's a character, but his voice is so iconic. Dutch. You know, it only made sense if the security guys wouldn't listen to me. I focus on the arrangements and booking in. Sean wasn't really interested in this aspect. After I severed that partnership, I'd find out why. What color am I? What the fuck kind of question is that? I'm fucking green, bro. I'm a green astronaut. Can you do a Daffy Duck impression?
Saffron Sakata.
No, that's not right. I don't know if I can. I really can't. I don't know. You're only 2 months in, but I'm about ready to commit to 3 years for your black belt. Yeah, you know, the cool thing is about martial arts is that, like, those progressions help you feel like you're moving forward, obviously, which I think you should do that. But it's also just going to be a discipline in regards to working out as well, which I think is really important for everybody to kind of find, and especially if you can, you know, generate a culture based around your manifestation of exercising. So stick with it for sure. I think it'll definitely be worth it down the road, and obviously you're going to make a lot of lifelong friends and all that kind of good stuff. I am turquoise, yeah. Every time I twerk, all the color just flies off of me.
Napoleon Dynamite voice. Tina, get the food. Tina.
Hey, Napoleon. Uncle Rico says that...
What does he say? I don't even remember. He's like, comes up, he's like,
Yes. No, Napoleon, go.
Hey, Napoleon. I hear that you're running for, school council. I just want to say that you're going to go down.
What?
Napoleon Dynamite, man, that was such a fucking good movie. I like whoever that actor was, I forget his name, but I wish he would have been in more. I know he was in that like skating movie with Will Ferrell, but those were one of those movies where like they specifically wrote it just because the two of them were coming off of some previous successes and stuff.
Vote for Pedro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Target used to have that fucking shirt all the time.
Napoleon.
Just, I remember laughing at that part where he's like, where they buy the time machine offline or something. He's like, did you get the crystals?
Oh yeah, sorry.
And he like puts crystals in the fucking thing. John Heder. Oh yeah, damn. Do the, oh yeah, Rex Kwon Do. Grab my hand. My other hand. Yeah, like remember, like he's like, grab my wrist, my other wrist, or with your. But he like just the hand that he grabs it with is just like so awkward. That shit was so funny. You think I feel bad going home to that every night? And he points at a beautiful woman. Gonna do Arnold Schwarzenegger. It only made me sense if the security guys wouldn't listen to me. I focused on the arrangements and the booking end. Sean wasn't really interested in this aspect. After I severed the partnership, I'd find out why. Yes, he has to laugh at the fucking end of it. Blades of Glory was the ice skating thing. Yeah, Blades of Glory, man, there's a lot of those like random ones. I mean, they were funny in the moment, but like you just kind of forget about them for a while. Found out my older sibling loved that movie when I moved in with her and saw the poster. Nice. I got a burp. Excuse me. Put the cookie down now.
Gilbert Godfrey. You know, when I was young...
I don't know. I love Gilbert.
Gilbert Godfrey. It only made sense if the security guys wouldn't listen to me. I focused on the arrangements and the booking end. Sean wasn't really interested in this aspect.
Rest in peace, fucking Gilbert. It's so weird, dude. I still don't really feel like Gilbert Godfrey and Norm Macdonald are dead. I know they are, but they don't feel dead to me, you know what I mean? Like, which I guess is a good thing, but just strange. It's not a tumor. SpongeBob. I can't really do SpongeBob.
Hi, Squidward. Hey, Squidward.
No, I just can't. Like, usually I can, like, feel it.
Hi, Squidward.
No. I mean, it's kind of like in the ballpark, but it just, I don't know. Do a good Eddie Murphy or Sly Stallone. Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy. Lord of the Rings.
Precious, stupid, fat, filthy habitus. Stupid, fat, filthy habitus. Smeagol.
Have you watched much Smiling Friends? I've seen bits and pieces of Smiling Friends, and actually it was really funny. One of the guys from Red Letter Media is actually on there as like the dude that has like the giant pistol that I think is, you know, he always like talks about,
Well, I guess I'll.
is he?
I guess I'll kill myself now.
That guy or whatever. But I mean, his voice is, I almost feel like Smiling Friends like finds YouTube channels that it likes and like recruits them or something. Can you do Squidward then? Wait.
Oh, SpongeBob.
I feel like I'm a little bit better at Patrick, maybe?
Hi, SpongeBob.
Oh, no.
It's a giraffe.
No, that's not really good.
No, this is Patrick. No, this is Patrick. I don't fucking know. Who gives a shit?
What about a Gru expression? Vatican's with who says, please summon bees with the...
Oh, with the clap of my ass cheeks, I summoned the bees. Oh, bother.
The creator is a YouTube... Oh, that's right, yeah. I, for some reason, thought he was, like, part of a larger group, but, I mean, that's awesome, and that show is fucking hilarious. Do a Darth Vader impression. I feel like it'd be better at, like, Darth Sidious.
Do it. Do it now. Do you know the tale of Darth Sidious the Wise?
Is this the Krusty Krab?
Pradeep wants attention so bad. Oh. He fell out of the chair. Sorry, buddy. Okay, I guess we should probably read, huh? The giraffe scene took me out and I laughed for a whole week about it. Yeah, I mean, that was like... I remember that was like episode 1 of SpongeBob.
It's a giraffe.
I just remember like watching that shit in like early middle school or something and being like, yes, they finally figured out the peak of cartoon comedy. It only made sense if the security guys wouldn't listen to me. I focused on the arrangements and booking end. Sean wasn't really interested in this aspect. After I severed the partnership, I'd find out why. I was a solo act now. I assumed the security team would leave with Sean, but I was shocked to hear that they wanted to stay on. I was too relieved to wonder why, and the next party came. Any questions I may have had, they were eager to answer. I was beginning to think that I misjudged them. Things looked like they were going to be just fine without Sean. One small thing bothered me, though. I kept seeing the bouncers going in and out of the bathrooms. Sometimes it would be 5 or more times an hour. Had it been one guy, I may have assumed that he was suffering from some sort of condition or issue that night. It wasn't, though. I finally got a free moment and followed one of them into the restroom. In the wide open area near the sinks, he was doing a drug deal with a couple of the party attendees, and I was furious. I'm no anti-drug person. If a regular guy wanted to stand outside and sell, more power to him, but these were the guys I was paying to keep the dealers out. I ran up to him and asked him what the hell he was doing, and he just stared at me with this clueless, shocked expression. I asked again, and he said that it had been okayed by his boss. I told him he was fired, and I stomped out to find Carlos, the head of the security team. I assumed that's who he meant by boss. I found Carlos at the entrance and asked him to join me in the office. I closed the door behind us and asked for an explanation. He didn't even try to hide it. I was informed that all the money Sean had put into the company came from him. In return for the loan, he would be allowed to deal exclusively at every party we threw until the loan had been repaid. I reminded him that Sean was no longer part of the company. His debts weren't my problem. He didn't care.
As far as he was concerned, he wasn't going anywhere until he made all of his money back. I thought maybe I could solve the problem by paying him off. I asked what was left, and he quoted at about $10,000, and my heart dropped. There was no way I could come up with that much money. I was screwed, and he knew it. What was I going to do? Call the cops? Beat him up? Until I had the cash, I was stuck just waiting for the cops to arrest me for the crime of being naive. In the time between then and the next party, which was 3 weeks, I considered 1,000,001 different ways to get out of the problem. The prospect of jail terrified me. If I was rich, I would just have left everything and started over somewhere else. With just a few days to go, I would do the one thing I didn't want to do: go to the cops. In a way, I was kind of fortunate. Carlos and his men were wanted, but nobody was willing to say anything on the record. I didn't get the impression that they were like mafia level, but they'd drawn enough attention to themselves to get the cops interested. I'd also find out that Sean was one of them, and more than likely, a high-ranking member. No matter what, I couldn't seem to get away from that loser. I would ultimately make a deal where I testified against everyone involved and avoid any charges. I guess in the end, jail scaled me more than anything else.
Alright. Sandro with the 2 buckaroos says, "Hey Spooky Zaddy, how are you? I'm doing great. Doing awesome. Just cruising and schmoozing, you know how it goes." You remember what's going on in the story? I don't know, this guy like runs some sort of like bouncer security company or whatever. But I don't know, it sounds like his crew was pretty corrupt or something like that.
I guess in the end, jail scared me more than possibly dying. The night of the party, Carlos and his team of thugs, including the guy I'd fired, showed up and did their thing, like usual. About an hour passed until the cops arrived and arrested him and his crew, along with a few others. I felt bad about the other people, but I knew that they'd likely get off with a slap on the wrist, if they were charged at all. When the time came, I testified and everybody was convicted. Their sentences ranged from time served all the way up to 15 years in Carlos and Sean's cases. Although my immediate problems seemed to be solved, I had no way of knowing if I was truly safe. I borrowed $5,000 from my parents and put it with what little I still had and left town. Since then, I've lived in multiple places across the country, getting work where I can and always keeping aware of my surroundings. It's been almost a decade since, and the constant moving and looking over my shoulder has come to an end. For all I know, I've done all this for nothing, and the last 10 years have been wasted. This in mind, I've decided to finally stop and put down roots. I won't say where, but I will say it's peaceful and an inviting place. Maybe I can finally find a nice girl and start a family. I don't know. If I am really being hunted and my enemies catch up with me, at least I was able to enjoy the little time of normality I had. When you've been running as long as I have, that's a simple pleasure you don't dare dream of. Wish me luck.
Waffles with a chill. Spending money because I want attention. Hi there, Joe. Hello, Waffles. What's going on with you? Pin drop silent. Push-up time. Okay, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, we'll do some push-ups prior to the last and final story of the Bouncer Doorman collection. The Bouncer Doorman collection. Oh, you think you're gonna get in here? Not today. Gonna call it a night. Peace out, Jacob. Sleep tight, my dude. Hope you have a good day tomorrow. Fighting crime and whatnot. Alright, baby. We got 50 push-ups. Also, Jacob, you can't leave yet. You gotta do fucking push-ups, bro. You're gonna do 30? Maybe, should I do a different exercise eventually, or should we just keep sticking with push-ups? I feel like... I'm not sure if any of the... I feel like push-ups are the most challenging. And I don't... I'd be sweet if I had like a pull-up bar, because I suck boners at pull-ups. I'm not good at them. Alright. So, 51 push-ups. We are trying to achieve that amount. I've gotten close. I'm trying to figure out my strategies. But let's go. And if you would like to join me, please do. Whatever bullshit you're doing, because it's totally, totally worth it. Especially afterwards when you're like, oh, fuck. I did it. Elevated push-ups. Handstand. You just hear me knock over my entire computer setup. Oh, fuck! Russian twists with a medicine ball. Those are good. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. Oh my god, bro. I don't understand why I'm getting worse. I'm gonna cry like a little baby covered in shit on the floor because I can't do push-ups. Oh, okay. Did I get 47 or was I 5? Alright. Either way, I think I got 4 more left. Holy Christmas Christ. Honey? Get the blowtorch. Cause this shit is fire. Ugh, okay. All done. Fuck that. Oh. I'm waiting for the AC to finish working. Oh yeah, I should do that. During push-up time. That would be actually really funny. Have a workout song. If it makes you feel better, I can do one. Well, you do one today, and then next time you do 2. You were at the gym 3 hours ago? Fuck yeah, dude. Jim Halpert. Pradeep. My brother. My son. What the fuck are you doing? Jumping jacks. Oh, man. I got the cat. He'll sit there and want my attention forever.
And then as soon as I go to get him, he'll run away. But not this time. How many YouTubers does it take to change a light bulb? How many? One to play Minecraft. One to read creepy stories. Pradeep's my hype man. Run in place. Father, water, remember to drink. I can't, I'm gonna have to drink Pradeep's blood. He is a good boy. He is a good boy, providing me with all that blood. Oh my God. There's your brother and son. You know, that's... Well, let's not look into that. Stand on one leg. Yeah, I wonder... Balance on my left leg is substantially always been better than my right leg, for whatever reason. Burpees. Oh, fuck burpees, yeah. Burpos. I was busy at work when we were doing the voices, but can you do Curly from the Three Stooges once you catch your breath?
What's Curly sound like?
Let's see. I feel like Curly. Isn't that guy? Or he's the bald one, right? Which always confused me as a kid because I always thought he was like the longer haired one. Three Stooges. Oh my God, I forgot about this show. I didn't like it as a kid, but I wish I did because it's fucking funny. Oh, that was Mo. Oh, wait. Curly's the short one, Mo's the leader, and Larry's the... Oh my God. He's like a... Jesus Christ, dude. This is the peak of comedy, really. Just all physical gags. Am I left-handed? No, I'm right-handed. I just slapped all three of them at one time. Oh my God, the fact that he sounds like that.
Oh boy, we'll be farmers into that. We're gonna be digging in the dirt.
They all... Just for no fucking reason at all three of them just start singing. They just, I don't even know. They all just start singing like a show tune together. I don't even fucking know. Yeah, those were them days, I'll tell you what. It's weird too, because they all look like old as fuck. But they were probably like 23 when they all started together. Back then. Alright, my breath is back. 1, you just stand under it and let the world revolve around you. Easy peasy. Wait. The world revolve around you. Oh, is that like implying that YouTubers are very self-centered people or something of that nature? I try not to be self-centered, I suppose. Or I try to stay, humble and whatnot. I mean, I guess I just did do push-ups, but whenever you're live streaming, you kind of have to be a little bit ridiculous, redonkulous. Scary Three Stooges stories. He poked my eyeballs out. Well, that's good to hear. Someone commented and said these 4chan volumes are consistently the best told and scariest stories. Well, that's good. I'm glad to people perceive the 4chan stories as pretty spooky looky. Spooky doogie. No, just a joke. Oh, well, wait, I don't understand the joke though. You stand under it and let the world revolve around you. I don't know. If you don't, I know explaining a joke is like dissecting a frog, because you can't put the frog back together.
Oh, National Black Cat Day? Is it really? I'll have to post a picture of Mr. Pradeep. National Black Cat Day. That's October 27th, it says. The last thing you want is two fingers poking you in your eyes, and your name is Curly. Whoop, 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 whoop. The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, movies with creepy backstories, I'm sure would be a good thing. But then also, like, using clips. Probably have to do YouTube videos with creepy backstories. I mean, I guess I just did that, but... Can you do a roll out on the bed? A roll out? What do you mean? Like jumping and rolling in the bed?
Around 2019, I moved to Phoenix to be with my girl. I got hired as a bartender at a sports bar not long after arriving. Things didn't work out with my girlfriend, so I moved in with one of the... Man, why am I struggling? Holy fuck. It's always annoying. I'm like, think I'm ready to go, but then my breath is like still not quite there.
There were two Curlies. Take a shot of peanut butter whiskey with me. Not tonight. Oh, it's only a once a year situation. Poltergeist, Wizard of Oz, tons to pick from. Yeah, for sure. I just feel like I would be obligated to like show like video footage from the movie, and it's just so hard to like edit it efficiently without getting copyright claimed.
Things didn't work out with my girlfriend, so I moved in with one of the bouncers. I'll call him Mercer for the sake of his privacy. Before I met Mercer, he'd been some special forces guy in the Marines. Before I met Mercer, he'd been some special forces guy in the Marines. Several deployments later, he decided not to re-enlist. He'd worked at the bar ever since then. To make extra money, he would provide Man, after the fucking push-ups, I feel like I suck. Penis. Nursing home night shift stories, those would be good.
TGI Friday, man, I should call into work. Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that, you know what I mean? Anybody seen Dave? Dave who? Dave Chappelle? Because he wanted to play the Tin Man, Oh, wow. That's scary. Isn't it weird looking back on, like, the things that brought people to the point of, like, suicide? And you're like, what the fuck? You killed yourself because you couldn't play the fucking Tin Man? Too much blood blast. Your brain push-ups. Yeah. I think so. It needs to get back to my lips and mouth. A kangaroo needed a job, so he became a bouncer. That would be good. Put a shirt on him and let him just kick everybody. What's up, Skunky? To make extra money, he would provide personal security for important people in the area. Most of the city's sports figures and business owners knew him and liked him. His work ethic was like I'd never seen before.
I trained with him occasionally, and he never once joked around or gave any less than 100%. I'd been living with him for about a year when he had a life-altering incident. He accepted a gig guarding a pro football player for his trip back home for New Year's. It was supposed to be a routine trip, 3 days in Atlanta and a quick flight back. I spoke to him the night that they arrived. He was relaxed and confident as usual. There was no indication of the terrible thing that was to come. The second night in Atlanta was New Year's Eve. His client had plans to meet with some friends at a club. Mercer and his guys went along, of course. They arrived at about 10:30 and were immediately led to the VIP section where his friends were waiting. A few other groups were also in VIP, but they were too involved in their own celebrations to notice his client. The client's friends had a few girls with them, and as midnight got closer, they became increasingly intoxicated. Mercer was getting more and more annoyed at their behavior. He brought this up with his client, and the athlete agreed that they should be sent away. Mercer was in the process of doing just this when a nearby VIP customer approached the group and became aggressive towards the athlete. The situation quickly grew chaotic. Mercer was attempting to get rid of the loud and annoying women and watch the angry VIP customer at the same time. He turned away for a moment, and when he turned back, the man was pointing a gun at his client. I guess his soldier instincts kicked in. He put himself between the gun and his client and took 2 shots to the chest before this guy could tackle him for his guys. Oh, you're playing Hearthstone Battlegrounds. Nice, Skunk. You have to let me know how it goes. And if after this, if you're still on, I will play with you, because we need to become gamers at that. Colin, oh my gosh, welcome back for 34 months in the Budersuk Kult. Nursing home, former worker. At one place, all my dying residents saw a little girl with me. Every single one would ask me who the little girl was. Creepy as fuck. That is really weird. Creepy as duck. Joe, any suggestions for exercises to get rid of flappy arms? I lost 70 pounds but can't lose the bingo wings. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just your triceps, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, yeah, like when you lose weight, you're going to have extra skin kind of like hanging around. And, you know, in that situation, you'll just have to get into the bodybuilding phase of working on your upper body, doing tricep-related exercises. You can do dips, you can do tricep extensions, really anything related to the tricep, but then also considering all the other parts of your arms, like obviously the antagonist to that would be biceps, and then trying to get full body. I know that, you know, for some people that might seem a little bit overwhelming, but who knows, you might really like, dude, I've known some, like, here in Pennsylvania, there was like a world record holder for like different lifts, like bench press and all this like powerlifting stuff, and they were actually like a 60-year-old woman who didn't start working out till she was in her like 50s, and but then she did powerlifting and set world records within her weight classes, and I always just thought that was really cool. And it just goes to show you that the human body is very capable of, you know, adapting no matter what time. You know, it doesn't have to be in your teens or 20s that you start working out. Like, you can start in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Even whenever you're dead, you could, you know, they could bring weights to your grave and just set them there, and then your arm shoots out of the fucking dirt and you grab it and you start curling, baby, even though you're bones. But it would be sweet. Yeah, start any time, just do it. Time to get ripped. Time to get rizzled. Fitness is what you replace your drug addiction with. Yeah, you know. Absolutely. He put himself between the gun and his client and took 2 shots to the chest before this fucking penis. I sound like Beetlejuice, yeah. Know what I mean? Yeah. 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 Here, say my name 3 times, would you? He put himself between the gun and his client and took 2 shots to the chest before his guys could tackle and disarm the shooter. Mercer was rushed to the hospital and spent the next 2 days in and out of surgery. The bullets had done some major internal damage. One had nicked his spine, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. Unfortunately, his client is so grateful that he's taken care of all the medical bills. No, fortunately, it's not unfortunately. Fortunately, his client was so grateful that he's taken care of all the medical bills. In addition, a couple of other business owners in the community have donated large amounts for his future rehabilitation. I don't think the doctors had ever met someone like Mercer. He was told his odds of ever walking again were next to 0. He must have taken that as a challenge. He was moving his toes within 2 weeks. It was like something out of Kill Bill if you've ever seen that. I'm sure he had the advantage of already being in phenomenal shape beforehand, but he left everyone speechless by his progression. He left everyone speechless. Speechless. If Joel was a trucker, what would his handle be? Rusty Nail? Yeah. Or Dirty Dingler. Or Stinky Steve. Hey everyone, it's Stinky Steve here. We're gonna meet at the truck stop and get soft serve ice cream. And then over the mics, I'll see you guys there. I'm sure he had the advantage of already being in phenomenal shape beforehand, but he left everyone speechless by his progression. Had he just gotten well enough to use a walker, I may have never shared the story in the first place. I don't like a sad ending to my stories, but something amazing happened today that changed things. Just 6 months after receiving the news that he would never walk again, my hero, Mercer, walked unaided today. No walker, no cane. It wasn't more than a few steps, but those few steps showed me nothing was impossible. After sharing such good news, I don't want to spend any more time than necessary talking about the shooter. As it stands, he's being held in jail without bail until the trial. And I know for sure that he's facing at least 2 charges of attempted murder. There's probably more that I don't know about, and he'll probably take a plea to avoid life because in the end, people like him are cowards. They're probably some jealous... Grufter Grelton. It's Grufter Grelton here. Be sure to subscribe to Skunk Page. Look out! Holy fuck, look out, it's a deer! Ah! Did you just see me hit that deer? That was fucking nuts. Turned to fucking red mist. That was crazy, Grufter. There's probably some jealousy in there, too. Since things with Mercer... Oh, God damn it. I'm so close. I'm so fucking close. Since things with Mercer... D-Shore, peace out. Have the best weekend ever. There's probably some jealousy in there too. Since things with Mercer are going so well, I don't think I'll write any future additions to the story. He's moved on, and so should we. And take his example to heart and never let anyone tell you that you can't achieve something. Mercer told me this once, and I can't think of anyone it applies to more. The only time you're guaranteed to fail is not to try at all. In my opinion, no truer words have ever been spoken. You're currently hunting a deer in TLOU. What's TLOU? Alright, we hath arrived at the end of the streams, but first I must read our outro scripts, so please do tell me something, also something that make me go ha 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 ha, something that make me giggle like a little boy. Have you tried honey for your throat, or is that too much sugar for you? It might help. Well, you know, I would. I'd have to go upstairs and get some honey and probably start up the tea machine and all that kind of stuff. So it's all good. Honestly, these lozenges and chloroseptic, they might be kind of overkill, but they definitely really help tonight. So thank you for that suggestion. Cat's Alley Art Studio with the 4 months in the Buttersauce cult says, hello, my top #1 favorite narrator. Let's read. Been away for a bit and missed a few of your live streams, so I need to catch up. You do. Yeah, if anybody wants to listen to the old streams or even this one after it's finished, there's a playlist for live streams that you can check out all of them. They're in order from newest to oldest, so you can even listen to all of them and go backwards in time. And I'm sure I'm still the exact same person. It's crazy. Like, I'm fairly certain that I've been streaming for like 4 years now, which is absolutely bananas. Vocal Easy Herbal Throat Spray. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna tattoo that on my skin so I don't forget. If only I had some of the food. If only I had a spoon feeder available. If only Pradeep had opposable Tums. Vocal Ease Herbal Throat Spray. Yes. Yes, I shall get that. Potassium or calcium? Are you asking about which one has the most radioactivity? Alright, somebody think of something funny to say at the end of this one. You sounded like what is it? Evgeny Malkin? Oh wait, is that a hockey player? Or while crossing Sesame Street, make sure you're eating sesame seeds. I'm eating salted, roasted pumpkin seeds made of myself. Oh, you made them? That's cool. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, and maybe even hear your stories featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks offered for the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories and big compilations and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. Wubba lubba dubba bubble butt. Actually, I think I've said that before on a previous stream. Throat spray is the bomb. Is a hockey player my favorite? Oh, nice. Is that? Yeah, that's on Pittsburgh, right? Does he still play for Pittsburgh Penguins? This play for Pittsburgh Penguins. And remember, I be running up that hill. There you go. I like that. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, I'd be running up that hill. Running up that hill. Running up that hill. All right, friends. Thank you. Also, Mr. Robin Mikalsen made some cool members only like promos for the channel, and I was kind of curious like where I should sort of implement them into the video, if they should be as like the intro or like the outro. Maybe I'll put them like right before the normal outro or something, almost like an intermittent thing, or maybe even after. Make a deal with Gosh. Make a deal with Gosh. Make a deal with Bob to get less on the rent. But either way, friends, I will have this edited and up on Patreon. It's only $1 a month over there for early access and bonus content. And, yes, a mid-tro. Yeah, a little in between. I just wasn't sure if people would be paying attention then or looking on their screen. I mean, there's a little, you know, a mid-tro actually would be pretty good, I think. It's a good idea. But yeah. Swap places. Hour. Fuck. But yes, good night, my friends, and I'll have this up on YouTube today at 7 p.m. Same time, same place. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Thank you so much for being awesome, and I will see y'all again. See you again soon.